All right, let's jump right in. We're talking about how AI is doing so much more than just shaking up our technology. It's completely rewriting the entire rulebook on what it even means to be a leader. So think about it. The rules are changing like right now as we speak. And that brings up a huge question, a really personal one. Is your leadership ready for this? I mean, this is the challenge every single leader is up against today. Because here's the deal, the old way of doing things, that rigid top-down command and control style, it's basically a dinosaur. It's obsolete. The future, the now, really, is all about being flexible, adapting on the fly, and honestly, adopting a whole new way of thinking. And that's a perfect lead-in to our first big topic, the AI leadership mindset, right? Because you can't just jump into building a strategy or telling your team what to do. It all starts with you. It starts with your own approach to this whole new world. So, what does it mean to be an AI-ready leader? What does that person actually look like? Well, for starters, they're not just putting up with AI. They're genuinely excited about it, actively embracing it. They're always tweaking the game plan. And maybe most importantly, they're building a space where their team feels safe to try new things, to experiment, maybe even to fail a little and grow from it. Let's get a little more specific. We can really break this down into 4 key traits. First up, adaptability. You gotta be like a chameleon, right? Just constantly embracing change. That adaptability, it fuels a forward-thinking mindset. And when you're thinking ahead, that's when you spark real innovation. But here's the kicker. None of this works, not a single bit of it, without a supportive culture where people feel encouraged to take a shot and learn as they go. Okay, so you've got the mindset down. That's awesome. But now what? How do you turn that way of thinking into an actual actionable strategy? This is where we get into building a vision for the long haul. And this is super important. Just using AI for the sake of using AI, that's a total waste of time. A really solid strategy isn't about chasing the latest shiny tech. It's about being smart enough, having the foresight to see exactly how this technology fits into your bigger picture and helps you get to your main goals, only faster. So where do you begin? It all comes back to culture. You've got to create a space where creative thinking isn't just a special event, it's the norm. An environment where your team can just throw ideas on the wall, no matter how wild, without worrying about being shut down. That's what psychological safety is all about, and it's where that first little spark of innovation comes from. Okay, so you have that spark. Now you have to fan the flames. Look, the biggest breakthroughs with AI almost never happen when one team is working all by itself in a silo. No way. They happen when you break down those walls. When you bring people together from all over the company, your tech folks, your marketing team, operations, all of them, and let them collaborate. That's when ideas connect and create something with way more impact. All right, let's shift gears for a second because this next part, honestly, it might be the most critical piece of the whole puzzle. It's so easy to get lost in all the talk about tech and data and algorithms, and we can forget what's really at the heart of all this. It's people. So let's dive into what a human-centric approach actually looks like. I really want to let this sink in for a moment. In a world that is just flooded with technology, our ability to connect with other humans, to show empathy, that's not just some nice-to-have soft skill anymore. It's become a leader's #1 most essential tool. Think about it like this. You could have the smartest, most powerful AI on the planet, but if your team doesn't trust it, it's worthless. It will fail. Trust is that bridge. It's the only thing that connects the incredible talent of your people with the amazing potential of AI. So the big question is, how do you actually build that trust? Well, it really rests on 3 main pillars. First is explainability. This just means getting rid of the black box. Your team needs to understand why the AI is making a certain recommendation, not just what the recommendation is. Second, you've got validation. You have to prove the system works and is reliable, probably through some outside checks. And finally, and this is huge, human oversight. There has to be a person in the loop, always to guide the AI, mitigate risks, and ultimately take responsibility. And that idea of responsibility, of accountability, it needs a guide. It needs a strong ethical compass. A real leader in this space is constantly checking that compass, navigating with principles like compassion and transparency and a commitment to fairness. They're making sure integrity is at the very core of every single decision. And just to be clear, these aren't optional add-ons. They are absolutely essential. Okay, on to our final piece of the framework. This is the engine that powers everything else we've talked about, data. So let's talk about how you can actually use data-driven insights to figure out if your strategy is working and how to make it better.
Check out this number, 85%. Just 85%. What do you think that represents when we're talking about AI in leadership? Take a guess.
Okay, here it is. 85% of organizations that are already using AI say it has improved their decision-making. And let's be real, that's not a small bump. That is a massive, game-changing leap in their ability to make smart, strategic calls. And it's all thanks to data.
And this is how it's happening in the real world. You see tools like these AI dashboards. They are total game changers. They can take these giant, overwhelming mountains of data and just poof, transform them into these simple, clear visuals, insights you can actually use right now to see what's going on in real time.
But of course, you can't just track everything. You have to focus on the metrics that actually matter. It really boils down to 3 big questions. 1, are you getting more productive? 2, are you actually saving money? And 3, are your customers more engaged? If you can confidently say yes to those, then you know your AI strategy is on the right track. So, as we start to bring this all together, let's circle back to what I think is the most important message here. At the end of the day, the best leaders, the ones who are really going to thrive in this new era, they're not just going to be the tech experts. They're going to be the ones who lead with humanity. Because really, that's what leadership has always been about, right? It's not some finish line you cross. It's a journey. It's this constant process of learning, of adapting, of growing. And that's never been more true than it is right now. So I want to leave you with a final question, something to really think about for yourself. After everything we've gone through today, the mindset, the strategy, the ethics, the human side of it all, what's the very first thing you're going to do? What's that one tangible first step you'll take to start leading in this new future?